The Supreme Court story, the leak there. Carrie Severino joins me now. She worked as a clerk for Justice Thomas. Carrie, welcome back to the show. I want to ask about other rights which might be in question, like interracial marriage, gay marriage, for example. Are other rights in question?
You know, it's interesting to see the level of fear-mongering going on about this. I think there's a few reasons. One is that they simply don't want to talk about the actual arguments for abortion being in the Constitution because there's no real argument there. But it's also interesting because Justice Alito's draft went out of its way to clarify that this opinion is not going to affect some of those rights. And some of the allegations are just preposterous in their face. The idea that, imagine, you're telling me that there's a state out there who's going to want to ban interracial marriage, and then the Supreme Court, composed with the majority presumably including Justice Thomas, who himself is in an interracial marriage, and Justice Barrett, who herself has multiracial children, is going to say, actually, Loving versus Virginia was wrongly decided. There is a lot of very clear reasons why Loving was correctly decided, and it doesn't rest on the same basis as this thing. So it's that kind of thing. I'm hearing, the president saying LGBT kids would be segregated in different schools. That's nuts. That has nothing to do with this case, and it's not something practically that I think is anyone's talking about doing in the first place. It's fear-mongering because they don't want to talk about the real substance of what's happening in the actual decision on the legal basis.
Jen Psaki responded to the news that far-left activists are going to protest outside the homes of Supreme Court justices. Just watch this for a moment, Carrie. Roll tape, please.
Do you think the progressive activists that are now planning protests outside some of the justices' houses are extreme?
Peaceful protest? No, peaceful protest is not extreme.
These activists posted a map with the home addresses of the Supreme Court justices. Is that the kind of thing this president wants to help your side make their point?
The reason people are protesting is because women across the country are worried about their fundamental rights.
Okay, protesting at the homes of Supreme Court justices. And by the way, Carrie, they're also planning Mother's Day protests at or in Catholic churches. What's your response? I think it's appalling. Your response?
Yeah, it's appalling and very possibly illegal. I mean, the FACE Act, which also protects abortion clinic entrances, says that if you are blocking the entrance to a church or threatening people there who are exercising their religious freedom, that is a federal crime. So they may be inciting people to federal crime. And we all know what peaceful protest has been used to describe before. God willing, these protests all are truly peaceful. However, I think, we can have a firm debate about these issues. And protest in the Supreme Court is something I've done many times myself, marching to the court with the March for Life. Hundreds of thousands of people do that every year. But you know what? They don't go to the justices' homes. They aren't shouting and doing it in a violent way. You can do this in a peaceful way. And I think that the question is, are we endorsing doxing Supreme Court justices, some of whom have young children at home, in what is a very violent thing? Some people have been suggesting on Twitter, hey, what would happen if one of the justices were assassinated? I mean, that is a real incitement to violence.
Oh, please. We don't want to hear that kind of thing. Carrie Severino, thank you very much for being with us this morning. Important points. Good.